Hello, this is John Speelman, together with John Watson, for Game of the Day of the 5th round of the Candidates Tournament in Moscow. It's been another very fierce round, though in the end all 4 games were drawn, which means that Sergei Karjakin remains in the lead. And we're going to look at a couple of these games in detail. I should mention the results first. So there was Anand against Nakamura, where, I don't know, that they shaked up a bit against each other and then found a way to make a draw. And Giri against Svidler, which has had a bit more content, but again, they found a way to repeat. The 2 games we're going to look at are the other 2. There's Aronian against Caruana, which John is going to look at mainly, especially the opening. And I'm going to start with Topalov against Karjakin, which is the game that Karjakin held to retain his lead. So, John, it's been very exciting, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been terrific. I was going to throw in one thing there, which is the Giri-Svidler game. Giri at one point had a considerable advantage, I think, but he had to make this committal move d5. And an interesting thing about Giri, these people are all monstrously strong, but if he does have any problem with winning this tournament, it seems to be that he's not going for it in these potentially better positions.
Basically, his plan is to draw n games and win 14 minus n, where n is not too large a number, isn't he, really? Obviously he can't draw all 14 games and win the tournament.
And he's had a couple of opportunities.
Yes, so, he's been very cautious.
Yes.
And, it's a difficult tournament, and you realise if nobody's going to run away with it, then losing a game is more disastrous than winning a game is wonderful, I think. And so they're all being very careful. Topalov, we can go through what's going on. I mean, I did something recently on this. I thought that Karjakin is the guy in the best form, really, because he's been making decisions. I thought I was particularly impressed with his game against Giri, where he had quite a difficult position. He just made a couple of decisions, and Giri soon made a draw. And I thought that's good form. Whatever the objective value of the decisions, which nobody knows during a game anyway, of course, the important thing is that you're in a good enough shape to make them. Because if you can't make decisions in a game of chess, then you're in real trouble. And I thought he was. So I've been impressed by him. I was also impressed by him in this game, which we're now going to look at, though it was quite difficult for a few moves. It starts out, so this is Topalov against Karjakin, with some standard moves, a Queen's Indian, which Karjakin plays a lot of recently, huge number of games, and they played their way down the variation, and there are lots of games one could cite, but I haven't even bothered to try to, because the important thing is that after these moves, Rook e8. Now Topalov plays a very interesting new move. He plays Rook b1. So
it's worth mentioning. Could I quickly jump in? It's worth mentioning this is the 3rd time Karjakin's had this in this tournament now. Once is white and twice is black. Twice is black.
I mean, he's. I didn't realize he'd had exactly this, but I mean, basically, Rook b1 is a new move, threatening to play b4. And then b5 to attack the queen side.
Right. The other 2 games against Nakamura, Karjakin played queen c2, and with the reverse colors, who was it? Played knight e5. I'm trying to remember who was white in that game against Karjakin. Anyway, those are 2 other moves.
Basically, it's a position they all play, but Topalov has this new move, Rook b1.
Yes.
And he's threatening to play b4. I presume Bishop b4 must be one possible answer, but I presume you just play Rook e1 or knight e5. And the bishop isn't great on b4. So Karjakin, well, you can't allow b4, or you're certainly toying with a very dangerous position if you do, because if white gets in b4 and b5, then that puts a lot of pressure on the d5 square, because you don't have the natural defense c6 to c5,